Welcome back to Turtles Hot Rods. What you see here behind me is a car that is very sentimentally attached to me. It is a piece of junk, but it's my piece of junk, and it is and was my first car. Let me show you what we got going on down here. It's too low to the ground to get on my creeper. My jack stands are maxed out, so I can't really film this whenever I actually remove it. But here's the old pump. And I have no idea how old this pump is. I was given this pump by my former boss, and for free, and he just had it and he wasn't gonna use it. It's got some adapters on it to go to the fuel line on either end, like you see, and it's just screwed into the floor. I don't think there's nuts on the other side of that. I think they're just sheet metal screws, and it's professionally installed right here with plenty of connectors so that you know that a professional did it, with different color wires so that you know that a professional did it. Yeah, it's not my best work, but you know, I was just trying to get the thing running again, honestly. Anyway, just remove a couple hose clamps, undo two screws on the bracket, take it out, take my fittings out, put my fittings in my new one, put everything back in, and then we're gonna be on the road. So I'm gonna do all that, show you the finished product, and we'll be out of here. All right, the old pump is in a box, which means the new one is installed. There you go. New one's in. I replaced that bit of fuel line right there because it was rotten over here at this edge, and this piece of fuel line here looked fine. It wasn't rotten anywhere, so I'm not going to replace it right now, but I put some push lock fuel line over there, so maybe that'll hold up a little longer. The new pump is much quieter. I just turned the key on and primed it up. Everything seems to be working fine and good and well, so it's in there good enough it ain't gonna fall off. So yeah, I'm gonna drive it. It ain't leaking no more. Check that off the list. Well, didn't make it very far. I believe I ran out of gas. You see all that gas that came out of my filler neck there. Thought I was out of gas because it wouldn't sit here and run at all. It was acting like it was a slam out of gas, and so I went to the store and got 5 gallons of premium and put in it, and it just spit up about 1.5 gallons probably. I think the pump is running backwards. Now I know I didn't wire it backwards. Maybe I did, but I don't think that I did. So I'm thinking that the darn pump, that new pump, runs backwards, because I put it on there the same way the old one came off. I don't know. I ain't gonna fool with it anymore tonight. I'll mess with it in the morning. Yeah, so the fuel pump was plumbed up backwards, and it wasn't pumping fuel into the carburetor. It was pumping air into the gas tank, which, you know, if you want your engine to run, that's the wrong way to do it. But if you want your engine to not run, that's the correct way to do it. All right, we're back on the road. First time in a couple months I've driven this thing out of the driveway. You might be wondering why I'm going through all the effort to change the rear axle. Well, let me show you. Watch my speed and RPM. We are back at his house, working in the great outdoors. As you can see, fire turd is over there being a turd. I'm just kidding, it's fine. I need to wash it. I ain't touched it in a few days. But this is what I'm working on now. So this is a rear end out of a 1999 Camaro SS. Now the SS Camaro came with a LS, V8, and disc brake rear end. I don't know if it came with positive traction. I don't know. I know that this rear end has an aftermarket diff cover. At least I think it does. It's painted black now. It was originally aluminum, probably polished aluminum back in the day. So somebody did something to this rear end. I don't know if they just put a fancy cover on it or if it actually has some work done to it. Now, what I'm about to do is take the brakes off, and I'm going to replace the brake rotors, the parking brake pads, the actual brake pads. No, this car is filthy. Look at the mold and shit on the paint. I'm about to wash it. I'm gonna wash it, and I'm gonna run a synthetic clay bar around it. So, we're gonna see. I done rinsed it a little bit, so it's looking a little bit more shiny red up here. But, trust me, it looks rough. Wow. You know, I got a friend that likes to say a little soap and water goes a long way. And that might be the truest statement that anybody has ever said. Because it really does go a long way. Alrighty, I got the new axle in there. Max helped me get it in, and I just got back from town. Did some grocery shopping and some brake part shopping, and we got a new brake line running from the block. That is coincidentally the same fittings are required for that rubber brake line up there that were required for the Ford rear end. And So I'm just in the process of bolting everything back up. We have the trailing arms and the panhard bar bolted back up. I'm about to get the shocks, the sway bar, the springs back in, and I'm gonna try to get everything in right now to hold it all in place, tighten everything down, and I might be done for the day after that point, because I still have to swap out the U-joint on the drive shaft. I have to bleed the brakes, and I have to make 2 new parking brake cables and attach them. And I'm probably going to be running out of time once I get everything bolted back together. So, alrighty. Juliana just helped me bleed up the brakes. She's looking at cooking classes. And she said the brake pedal feels all right. She said it feels hard. So, that's what it's supposed to feel like. And I bled each side about 3 or 4 times with my vacuum bleeder hooked up, and then once or twice with the bottle hooked up. So now we're gonna go for a test drive. I can watch the calipers moving. I mean, it bled up really good. I was thinking it was gonna take longer to bleed them, but that was quick. So that should be the last thing to do. Everything is hooked up. Everything is tight. Let's put the wheels on it and go for a test drive. Yes. Well, we're cruising right now at about 65 or so. I don't know. It don't make noise. I did a burnout a minute ago, and I heard the left rear squealing. So I'm assuming it has limited slip or something, positive traction, something in it. I'll do a burnout in front of the house and see if we leave 2 marks on the ground when we get back. It doesn't howl at all, which is wonderful news. And brakes work great. The light's gonna turn green before we even get there. Well, I'm 99% sure we just blew the front U-joint out of the car. And because you can grab the drive shaft and it wiggles left and right. The car still drives. We drove it from down there about half a mile up here to the gas station. So after phoning a friend, I've determined I'm gonna try to drive it home, because that's cheaper than a tow truck at this point. I'm just gonna go really slow. So let's see. Also, these things are delicious. Well, we didn't quite make it home. We're about 3/4 of a mile from the house, and the front U-joint decided it didn't want to party anymore, and drive shaft started trying to bind up, so I just parked it. And hopefully the drive shaft isn't tore up. I can just replace the U-joint, we'll be fine. There he is. Dang, Mr. Quick. Old Talbert Goldman pulling up. They got that hot rodding. Heck yeah. We're gonna get this thing loaded up and get her to the house. Well, this is fun. I'm on a trailer. Look here. I'm just holding the parking brake on and holding my foot on the pedal brake. And we're right down the road from the house. Well, here we are. We made it home. I ain't fooling with it no more tonight. I'll see it in the morning. Well, I done put a new rear U-joint in it. That was what was wrong with it. Apparently I forgot to install the little C-clip retainers that go on the axle side of the U-joint. So now those are in. Everything's tight. I'm gonna go to the Dollar General, get a pack of water, and do a little test drive. Well, it is a beautiful day today. And it's like somebody flipped the switch, turning it from hot summer into medium temperature fall. Well, the car is driving pretty well. There's still a few things mechanically that I need to do. We're gonna install an O2 sensor bung in the exhaust, so I can put a wideband sensor in there, and we can use an air fuel gauge to tune the carburetor a little bit better to help it run a little bit more efficiently, as well as I need to adjust the exhaust hanger for the left side exhaust pipe over here, because right now it's loose. You see the other side is not. That side is loose, the other side is not. Little things like that. Need to put some vapor lock, vapor guard insulation around the fuel line on top of the engine. But then everything else is pretty much cosmetic that I want to do. So one of those things is repainting this spoiler back here. You can see where the paint is chipping and coming off. Obviously there's this big piece here, and if you look at it, it's bubbled all over. It's getting ready for the whole thing to be bad, especially down here. See all those bubbles? That's no good. So I'm gonna pull this off and we're gonna repaint it, as well as this edge here. What happened here, because I painted the car like 2 years ago, and I painted this edge along there, but the struts that hold the trunk up, the hatch, have gone bad, and that one I think might still be good, but it needs both of them to lift it. And if you look at the gap over here, it's shoved tight there, and it's mighty wide over here. So that strut or shock is shoving the deck lid this way, and it's actually making this hit on this side. And I opened it and closed it the other day, and when I did, it pulled the paint off this edge. So I might fix this as well, or I might just touch it up with a brush. I'm not really quite sure yet, because I did get red single stage, so if I mix some hardener in there and touch it up with a brush, it'll last a long time. So, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this whatchamacallit, this spoiler. I'm gonna pull it off, and I have set up in the back over there because I don't want to get all the dust all over everything and the overspray. Got a stand back there, run an air hose back there. I'm gonna sand it all down with 180 grit sandpaper, and then I'm gonna prime it with some urethane high build primer, let it dry overnight, and early tomorrow morning, like 6:30, 7 a.m., I'm gonna come out here and sand it with 400 grit sandpaper, and then I'm gonna spray it under these trees outside. And I'm just gonna have to get lucky that a leaf doesn't land in it and a bug doesn't land in it. But as long as it's calm in the morning, we shouldn't have very many bugs. We shouldn't have very many leaves. So that's the plan anyway. We'll see how it works. And then once we get that done, I got some pretty paint that we're gonna do the wheels with inside here. You see how rough that's starting to look down inside these areas. It's looking rough. Years ago, I repainted that all black, and it's starting to fade and go back to how it looked whenever I got the car, which was faded gray. It looked like crap. But I'm gonna take the wheels off, give them a quick polish. Nothing crazy. It won't take much to get them back super shiny. And then we're gonna spray that gold down in the middle there. Let me show you that. Yes, that's gold, isn't it? Single stage, high gloss, metallic gold. That is gonna be pretty. I don't want too much on the stick. That's gonna be pretty. Nothing super special. It's just it's a Ford color. I don't really remember what color even. I think it says on the can. Oh, there you go. Ford Carrot Gold. Pro tip, when you go to your paint store, if you want to get pretty colors and stuff, if you want it to be cheaper, go with the domestic brands. Ford, General Motors, a lot of times Japanese brands. The cheaper the car brand, generally the cheaper the paint, because there's some paints that you have to get in high quality expensive brands, and that can drive. That quart of paint was like $85. If that was a super high quality top of the line paint, it'd probably be like $180. I mean, it's that much of a difference. Calm down. Chill out. I know it's the most beautiful engine you've ever seen, but it really ain't. We're going to see how well this stuff works. Alright, I doubled it up right in here and put zip ties everywhere just to be sure it's not going to come off. I got a 30 amp fuse down here. This is melted. My fan fuse. My fans were on, but then they cut off. I didn't know what was happening with it. And the base of this is hot. It's coming right off the battery. I don't understand why it would short. Alright, well, I replaced the little fuse box for the fan relay, and it is getting hot. I mean, H-O-T-T-O-G-O hot, right? What's weird, this wire coming straight from the battery, ice cold. This butt connector, kind of warm. This wire, hot. This fuse thing, really hot. This butt connector, hot. This wire going to the relay, a little bit warm, but not alarming. I don't know why it's getting hot from here to there. But I'm thinking that this, my only thinking is there's not a good connection going on in this fuse thing, or this wire is too small of a gauge, or maybe because it's like this aluminum wire, maybe it's not working. I don't know. But tomorrow I'm going to get some of these fuse things that are 10 gauge, because I think that's what size this wire is. This is 14 gauge, so it's a little bit smaller. What I have set up for the fuel pump is also kind of jerry-rigged, and I don't really like it. Okie dokie. So, I redid it. I added another relay. So now I have two fans down there. And now instead of being on one relay and one fuse, this relay is controlling one of those fans. I don't really even know which. And then this relay is controlling the other one. Each fan has its own fuse. This is the fuse for the fuel pump. I just went to the hardware store and bought 3 of these little fuse connector things, because this is much nicer than this janky crap, cheap plastic junk. So I figure I'll keep these, throw them in a junk drawer. I might can use them for something else that is a little bit less serious. But you know, your radiator fans are kind of important. And I wired them up because, I mean, they literally were wired together. So maybe they'll spin a little bit faster. I've never had overheating issues since I put that radiator in there. This is like that eBay radiator. It's made to fit this car with electric fans. And I haven't had overheating issues with it. However, it does get close to being hot. It gets up to about 220 if you sit in traffic long enough. But it don't ever go over. And 220 is about as hot as you want it to be. I keep a 180-degree thermostat in all of my cars, and you know, because it don't really get super cold around here, so we don't need hot heat. The 220 is plenty warm enough for me. I'm gonna crank it, or I'm gonna turn the key on, and we're gonna see if everything works. It should. I didn't change it really. Oh yeah. I feel like they're spinning a little faster. Like quite a bit faster actually. Moving a lot of air. Alright, I've just been tightening up a few belts, tighten up the AC belt and the alternator belt. Made sure my power steering fluid was topped off because you see a little puddle down there. This sucker's leaking. And then there's a puddle down there too. I don't know what that is coming over here. Now, the reason that my car, while it's sitting here idling or when I go over a bump, makes a rattling sound is because that exhaust hanger ain't doing squat. And if you pick it up, you can't shove the pipe backwards to get it in there. So what I'm going to do is get the pipe situated where I want it, cut this loose off of there, stick that all the way up in that hanger, and then re-weld it back over here somewhere and be done with it, and it'll be fixed. And then we're going to drill a hole and put a spot for the O2 sensor. That's also why these exhaust pipes are uneven, because whenever I built the kit, it was even, like a double barrel shotgun was the idea of the look. Well, when I bolted it all together after fully welding it, stuff moved. It just happens. Stuff moves, and somehow it was way off. And if you shoved that pipe in an inch, it would be in the exhaust hanger like it needs to be. Alrighty, I got the hanger welded back on. You can see that's so much better. It ain't making racket no more. So that vibration and rattle is gone. Now, I'm gonna cut it off right there. That looks a whole lot better, don't it? Looks a lot more like a double barrel shotgun now than it did before. That was the idea behind it. Just kapow! Well, got that sucker in there, got that sucker welded all the way around, put the plug in it, cranked it up, couldn't feel any exhaust leaks, so I guess it's good. I was kind of welding the whole bottom half of it blind. I was literally watching like the inside of the circle when it get hot, and that's how I knew I was getting good penetration. Last thing I need to do before I leave here is do a little bit of trimming on this guy. I'd like to keep the deal here to hold the radiator hose, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I'm just going to get a Sharpie and mark it and trim it and check it over and over again until I get it right, and I'll show it to you whenever I get it done. Alright, this is what I ended up with. I actually got to keep most of it on there, and it fits pretty well, I do think. It pulls the radiator a little bit tighter to the car, which is good. It still kind of holds it in place. It holds this hose from getting caught up in my AC compressor, and all of my holes should line up with the lineup, see? So now I just got to find the bolts. It's buffing time. I want you to see something. I have a light on my head. I buffed with that foam pad and Meguiar's compound in this general area, and then I did the deck lid of the car. I have not yet done over here. You see how much more busy how many more lines and swirls are everywhere. And you get over here, and there's still a few of them, but it's a whole lot less. That's how I know I'm making progress. And I'm getting a lot of my swirl marks and scratches out. Now, I'm not going for perfection on this car. There's no way this paint job is ever going to be perfect, because of stuff like that. Solvent pops in the clear coat all over the place. Because like I mentioned before, I messed up when I painted it, and I put the clear on way too heavy. I had some runs in some places, and solvent pops, and nothing I can do about that. I literally have to sand it down to fix it. But I cut and buffed the car, and I just stopped at the wool pad stage. I didn't go any further than that because I was bummed out about it. But with this foam pad, you can see how clear it's looking. It's not all the way there yet, but it's getting there. Y'all, this car ain't looked this good in a long time. I don't think it's ever looked this good in the... Bought it in 2017, so 8 years that I've had it. I don't think it's ever been this darn shiny. I mean, it looks great. Needs a bath, though. Yeah, I know it looks kind of clean, but it's filthy dirty. All that's like smudges in the... like polish and stuff that didn't come off all the way, but that's fine. We'll wash it off here in a minute. My struts came in, my shocks things came in for the hatch, so I'm about to swap them out, throw the spoiler on it, and then we're gonna pull it right over there, and we're gonna wash this baby. This car has literally never been this shiny in all of the years that I've owned it. It looks really good. Really, really good. It is a solid 10-footer paint job. Get a little closer than that. You start seeing some imperfections, but you know what? Nothing in this world is perfect. And my car dang sure ain't gonna be as much as I drive them, so I'm all right with it. Heck yeah, that looks nice. Cleaned up under the engine, up under the hood, bottom side of the hood, clean the engine bay up. It's nothing, it's not a show car engine bay at all, but at least it's clean. You know, it looks decent. So we'll keep the hood shut at Cruising the Coast this year, but everything's clean under there in case I have to do something. I won't get all greasy and nasty. y'all, my name is Turtle, and this is my submission for my NASCAR pit crew tryout. I tell you what, I think that's gonna look good. Well, well, well. Well, 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 well. Well, well. Well, well, or well. Well, well. Yeah, I don't know. It's growing on me. It looks good when you see it from the side, but when you see it dead on, I don't like it. When you're seeing it from the side, it's kind of cool. And I do believe the suspension in the car will settle a little bit lower after I drive it, because right now it's up because I just jacked it up. I haven't drove it yet. And that'll help it look a little bit better because, I don't know, 16-inch wheels on these cars. It was big for back in the day, but today's standards, I mean, 17s would be a minimum for me, and that's even a stretch. I want 18s on the front and 20s on the back on this thing. But it looks better than it did, and it looks better than most wheels that look like this, I think, regardless of the condition they're in. I do like the gold. It looks cool from this angle, but, you know, not from this angle. But maybe that's just because of the shape of the wheels. This thing's kind of in the way. I don't know. Some of you in the comments might actually like these wheels. If you do, let me know. I have hated them ever since I bought the car. And this, quite honestly, I think is the best they've looked. I really can't decide if I like it or not. I don't hate it, but I can't decide if I love it or if I'm just like, eh. Alright, well, here's the dealio, folks. I was going to tune the car by using a wideband sensor to read the air-fuel ratio, but the kit that we ordered did not come with a certain wire that I need. So, for the purpose of this video and tuning it, I'm just going to trial and error, do it by how it's feeling, and get it closer. It won't be perfect unless I use a gauge, but I can get it pretty good. So what I'm going to do, because I know it needs to be leaner. Right now it's too rich. So just so you know, when you go full throttle in a car and it's not tuned properly, it'll do one of two things. It'll either be popping out of the intake or popping out of the carburetor. that means it's too lean, which means it doesn't have enough fuel. And if it's bogging and falling on its face whenever you go full throttle, it's too rich, which is exactly what the car is doing. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this front bowl off with these 4 bolts right here. I don't think I need to unhook the fuel inlet. I might, but I'm going to try not to. I'm going to take that off. It's going to spill gas everywhere. I'm going to stuff rags under here, and hopefully it won't get gas all over the place. And then we're going to take the main jets out and look at what size they are, and take the rear jets out and look at what size they are. And I'm going to drop it down 2 sizes, probably. Fuel pump's running. I don't have any leaks anywhere. I ran to the store and got a gasket for the back. Got it all on. Doesn't seem to be any leaks anywhere, so we're gonna take this baby for a test drive. See how that does. Try it out now. Heck yeah. Well, I found the wire that I had lost. It was wrapped up in some bubble wrap. And I have professionally installed the O2 sensor down there and gave it a permanent fixture along the side of the car. Permanent, at least for, 80 mile an hour. It looks aerodynamic enough. And this is what we're working with. Battery on the floor, some alligator clips, and then this thing. So I guess I'll just crank it up and see what it says and do a Google on what the air fuel should be and take a test drive. Alright, well, it says it needs to be about 14.7 at idle and between 12.8 and 13 at wide open throttle and 14.5 at light cruise. So I can tell you at idle we're already really a little bit too rich. Not too bad off, but a little bit too rich. And then, so we're going to take a cruise and I'm going to kind of be watching that. Alright, I can see it's still too high. I got it taped onto the column. If I'm clear over this hill, alright, I'm gonna floor it. I'm confused. Alright, it's right at 15 at wide open throttle, so it needs to come down. I need to go down on the jets some more. Well, I put the smallest jets that I have, 64 and 65 in the carburetor. 64s in the front, 65s in the rear. That is going down 2 sizes from where we were at. We had wait a minute. What did we have in there? 67s and 66s, I guess. That's what we had to have. Yeah. So we had 67s and 66s in there. Now we got the smallest jets that I have. So if this is still off, then I'll need to order some more jets to jet it down even more, but it should be really close. All right, well, I made that change, and the gauge is reading like it's super rich, but the car is running better than ever. Watch this. Dang, son, got that thing shined up. Yep, gave it a bath. I'm pretty happy with the way this thing turned out. We're gonna finish off the video here, guys. We did a whole lot of stuff in this video today. It's running better than it has in a long time. What is that? Oh, it's in the paint. You can really see at this angle all the stuff in the paint. It's smooth though. It's so smooth. It ain't perfect at all. But you know what? Honestly, that's the best that it's looked in the 8 years that I've owned it. I'm pretty proud of it. So I'm gonna enjoy it. If you liked this video, or you found it entertaining, or you found it informative, leave me a like, leave me a subscription, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.